to Super Smash Secrets episode 10. We're going over the Echo Fighters today, and right next to me I have John Numbers, a top wii-fit player, and we're going to be explaining these Echoes.
Hi guys, John Numbers, top level wii-fit player at your service.
So the first thing we're going to talk about with these Echo Fighters is how similar they are. You can see a lot of the times we have the same moves, like we have the same jab, the same forward air, same nair, and you get the idea. We have a lot of the same moves if we stand right next to each other. We're also the same height. But the one difference, or there's a couple differences, a difference that we do have is our swords. You can see if John gets close to me and tries to tipper me, I'm getting hit. Even no matter the range of the sword, even at the tip of the sword, I get hit like that.
Every time it is 11 damage.
Yes. And when I try to hit him, there's two different hitboxes. There's the outside one, and there's the tipper one.
Doing 7 damage.
Yeah, you can see that there's differences. And the same with the jab. Jab me, and jab tipper me.
8 damage each.
When I jab Numbers here, there's an inward hitbox, and there's a tipper hitbox. You can see it doesn't send him as high. You can see the differences between these two is that Roy was more likely to want to get in more because of his inward hitbox. He much rather prefer to get in, do the best damage possible, because that's how you do your best damage as Roy.
Yes, for both characters, you generally want to get in as close as you possibly can to the opponent because they have great frame data, good speed, lots of range, lots of power. But since Chrom can hit you with his tipper hits and still get lots of good damage, he can space if he wants to. He doesn't have to get right in the opponent's face like Roy does.
Yeah, the fact that he has the option to not always be in is amazing, because if he wants to, he can actually space around his opponent, use the max range the best way possible. So the fact that Chrom has that option means he does have the better sword.
Yes, and this might lead you to think that Chrom is the better character than Roy. However,
if you hit Chrom off stage,
he's going to die.
Yes. The one bad thing about Chrom, which makes him unviable, is the fact that he has a different up B than Roy.
His up B in particular does not sweet spot the ledge. It will not grab it as he's coming up to reach it like most recoveries do, and it leaves him open to getting hit as he's coming up. Compared to Roy, for example, who will just grab the ledge as he's coming up, making it much harder to hit him as he's reaching the ledge.
Yes, exactly.
It can be done, but it's a lot harder fighting Roy. And that consistency is what makes Roy a much better character in the overall game. But Chrom is still good. Don't be misled. Chrom is good. He has a bad recovery, but his sword is much better than Roy's is.
Yes, his sword is much better, and on the ground he actually is a better character than Roy, but off stage is the problem. The second he goes off stage, he's most likely dead.
He's in Frown Town.
Yes. Alright, let's talk about Pit.
Here we are at the pits.
You can see they have the same moves as well, these Echo Fighters.
Yes, and unlike, for example, Chrom and Roy, their moves hit basically exactly the same. They are very similar characters.
Yes.
Compared to the other Echo Fighters.
Yeah, you can see.
They are speedy, fast, combo-centric characters with a couple of strong finishers. They're very all-around jack-of-all-trades characters.
But the differences between them is the arrows and the side B.
They have a total of 2 differences, and that's all you get. Well, 3. Their final smash. But we're not talking about that today.
You can see the Pit side B sends upwards, and it's called the upper dash arm, and Dark Pit.
And Dark Pit's electro dash arm will send you sideways.
Exactly.
For these moves, it means Dark Pit is better at closing out stocks if your opponent happens to be near the ledge, and Pit's is better just at once you've reached the percent where it will kill. Stage positioning will not matter for Pit. And then as far as the arrows go, Dark Pits are stronger, but they are harder to curve around. Meanwhile, Pits are weak, but he can send them all over the place. Very good for controlling people's positions.
Exactly.
For Dark Pit and Pit, their differences are very minor, and they more or less are equal in strength. So, if you're a Pit player, consider picking the other one too. You've got options.
With Pit, I talked a lot about edge guarding with these arrows, but with Dark Pit, it's not really about the edge guarding with the arrows, because As you can see, Pit can angle his arrows all the way, but Dark Pit cannot.
Dark Pit can go for a strong finishing hit if he happens to get it, but against a character with a mobile recovery, like Pit, it isn't happening.
And now we can talk about Marth and Lucina.
It's underneath the F. I mean the I.
Yeah, I hate that change.
Yeah. Well, normally you'd just be pressing B to recall your token.
Yeah.
All right, leave damages on for this one.
Where is it? Okay.
Here we are with Marth and Lucina.
You can see Marth and Lucina are also similar to Roy and Chrom with the moves that look similar. They're both from Fire Emblem.
They're both from Fire Emblem.
Yes.
Marth and Lucina both share similar game plans in that they want to keep you at the edge of their range. Unlike Chrom and Roy, who want to get right in your face, they want to keep you at your space, at their own space, and just hit you with these mid-range attacks all day long.
But you can see is that their swords are different. You can see Marth has a tipper on their sword, and in the inward hitbox, it's different. They do different damages, but with Lucina,
Yes, with Marth, his inside hits are a lot weaker than the average attack, and his tipper hits are very strong. Lucina doesn't have this. Her sword is equally strong along the whole length, so it doesn't hurt her as much if she accidentally gets a little too close to the opponent. She can just swing, swing, swing. And in that regard, it makes Lucina a little bit better as a character because she's more consistent. If she messes up her spacing, she's still going to get the same amount of damage. It makes Marth a more explosive character, though, because if he gets his game plan right, you'll die.
you'll die.
You'll die a lot.
Marth is a very rewarding character to play because if you get your spacing right, you can take the stock, but Lucina is all about the consistency. And at top level Smash, consistency is key.
Yes, and aside from that, they're effectively the same. Their moves are the same speed, they are the same speed, all their special moves are the same. They're basically the same character. But if you
Yeah.
play one, you could probably play the other and not see too much difference. You have differences in game plans that might be useful for different matchups.
And next, let's go into Ken and Ryu.
Here we are with Ken and Ryu.
Both from Street Fighter. They have focus attack, right? But even though they are Echo Fighters, they're very different.
Yes, you'll quickly notice that unlike the other 6 Echo Fighters in the game, these characters are not the same. Like, their forward tilts are different. Their up tilts aren't the same, actually. Their forward tilts are different. A lot of their aerials are different, too. Like their neutral airs and their up airs. And their forward smashes are different. And even their focus attacks. They have different animations. Oh, got them. But they still share some properties. Some of their moves are still the same. And they still have the same property of, yes, Hadouken. They still have the same property of always facing their opponents, like real fighting game characters. Just get in there, hit them with that down tilt.
You can't mix up your Kens or Ryus.
And of course, they share some moves. Hadoukens, Shoryukens, even if Ken's is on fire. They're, in spirit, they're the same move.
They also have true inputs. You can see if I use Shoryuken here with the up and B, there's no mark on it, but if I use the true input, there's a mark on it. And you can see there's a difference and it's stronger. There's the up B version, and here's the true input version. It's stronger, you can see a little mark on it and it sounds different.
Yes. For all their differences, if you're looking for a primary difference between Ken and Ryu, you could say that Ken is faster but a little bit weaker, and Ryu a little slower but hits very hard. They are very different characters. If you can play one, you might struggle to play the other one, but with a little bit of practice, you can have the fundamentals carry over.
Yes. There are more differences between them. You can see Ken's side B has multiple hits, while Ryu's side B has one hit. You can see that Ryu has a Hadouken and another true input, a fighting game input where you can use a fire Hadouken. You can also mix how fast they are.
To do Ryu's Shakunetsu Hadouken, just roll your stick from backwards to down to forwards and press A.
Yeah, that's that one right there.
If you do that with Ken, you'll get a kick. That's pretty strong. Ken does not have the Shakunetsu Hadouken. He's not as good.
Well, which one would you say is better?
The better character?
Yes.
Truth be told, it's in hot debate which of the two Street Fighter characters is better. They both have their own strengths and weaknesses that kind of balance each other out. Some say Ryu is better because he needs less overall hits to get the stock. Some people say Ken is better because he's really fast.
Yes.
The debate is ongoing.
If you play one of these characters, you should learn how to play the other character because it can transition easily, and you just have more options to choose between your matches.
Indeed. And next, we'll talk about the last three Echo Fighters in one big grouping. Because oh boy, they're a group, all right. All right, just go in order with Samus first. All right, and for the last Echo Fighters, we have Samus and Dark Samus, Simon Belmont and Richter Belmont, and Peach and Daisy. And they're a little special because, unlike the other four Echo Fighters, which had some differences between them, these characters kind of are exactly the same. They share exactly the same moves. They may have a couple of different animations, but for the most part, these are exactly the same moves. There are no functional differences between them.
Yes. Just personal preference, which one you like better, which one you think is cooler.
There are some slight differences. For example, Samus's forward air hits with fire, and Dark Samus's hits with plasma.
Plasma.
So if you like that better, then you should use that.
Alright, now for Peach and Daisy, these Echo Fighters are basically the same, but the one difference they do have is their idle animations.
Daisy's is better.
Spunkier, and some of their animations, like side B, is different.
Oh yeah, look at those flowers.
Flowers and hearts.
Look at those, oof. Yeah, work it, girl. But aside from that, these two princesses play exactly the same, so just use whichever one you like better. With Simon and Richter Belmont, it's the same situation. They are using the exact same moves.
Do they have the same idle animation?
Do they? Let's find out. They do. Do they have the same walk? Oh yeah, the same the buff man Castlevania walk. The only real difference is one has a fantastic chiseled jawline,
Yes.
and that would be Simon.
Another difference is their animations, the holy water. One's fire and the other one is blue fire.
One is blue fire, indeed. So, just like Peach and Daisy and Samus and Dark Samus, they're the same character. Pick whichever one you like better. If you're a big fan of Rondo of Blood, well, you don't have to worry about not picking Simon Belmont.
And now, let's get into the versus matches with me and John with Marth and Lucina.
We'll be fighting with some different Echo Fighters, just to help demonstrate the similarities and differences that they can really provide. With Marth and Lucina, as we've mentioned, they're both characters that really want to keep their space in the mid-range, but with Marth, he has very strong hits at the mid-range, which means it's more crucial for him than Lucina to clip spacing and keep distance, even though it is something that Lucina wants to do.
Yes, the fact that Lucina also has the option to fight up close, because they can do more damage than Marth, is very good for Lucina.
Yes, it means Lucina is not punished as badly if her spacing is breached. And it means she can give Marth a hard time by just getting right in his face as fast as she can, since Marth is the one who wants to keep his spacing down to a T.
Since they both have weaknesses and advantages, you would think that they're both similar on the tier list, but Lucina is definitely better because of that consistency. With Marth doesn't always land those tippers, or usually gets those weak spots. You can see that Marth falls on the tier list.
Indeed, it's just a little bit too inconsistent to hit Marth's tipper moves in a fast-paced action game where people are moving back and forth. The spacing range for Marth's tipper moves is very narrow, and with people moving as fast as they are in this game, it's not very consistent for him to just hit them.
Yes, he needs to be consistent, and that's what Lucina excels at.
Ironically, though, it is said that Marth is the one who does better in the matchup of Marth versus Lucina, because both characters do want to play at a certain range, and Marth is the one who succeeds at that range. Like, Lucina is going to keep herself still a little bit more than the average character, and it gives Marth those opportunities to just land those tipper hits. Lucina's trying to keep you at the edge of her range. Marth likes that, because that's the edge of Marth's range, too.
As well. You can see we have a lot of the same moves, but with these tippers, I can edge guard well. Because these tippers send very far away, farther than usual. Using side B. You can see that Numbers is trying to strike me with uppers like I explained in my Lucina video.
I'm just doing silly things.
You can see that that was Lucina's up smash, and that up smash has a scoop hitbox and a stronger hitbox. There's two different hitboxes, and there's two different ways you can hit with that move. Right there was the first hitbox, so it just scooped me in, and it didn't connect the full hit, so it just hit at that weird angle.
Some flubs aside from me, you can really see how these characters play very similar to each other, but they both have their strengths and weaknesses, even in spite of them having very similar playstyles.
You can see we both hit each other with forward air. I hit the weak part of my forward air, the non-tipper, and I did 8%. And Lucina, it doesn't matter where you hit, you will get the same, and it'll hit me for 11.
A handsome 11 damage. Right there, that would have been a tipper hit if that was Marth. That would have just secured the kill.
Yes, it would.
But with me playing Lucina, those explosive opportunities aren't going to come quite as easily.
That's why Marth is way more precise. And you're rewarded for that.
Took me 3 forward smashes to kill him, where Marth's 1 might have done the job if it was tipper, of course.
If it was tipper, yes.
For Marth specifically, his side special has a very, very strong tipper right on the final hit. If you can space that perfectly, you can get some very early kills at the ledge. Lucina, again, does not have this opportunity.
You can see that forward smash did not kill, but if I was Lucina, it would have.
Absolutely. What's important with all characters, but especially with playing Echo Fighters, is understanding what opportunities are available to you at any point in the game. I'm very good at this game.
Even a side B at such a high percent, it still doesn't kill. That's why Marth is a worst character, because it's very inconsistent.
That felt good. I think that's probably enough footage for Marcino.
Yeah, let's just finish this game.
Oh, okay. Bro, there's no sound and it's laggy.
It's fine, just play. You can see, like I said, Lucina does not have that much combos. It's all about the elegance and spacing your opponents out. There's a counter right there. And there's the start. And now we can go into Peach and Daisy. Peach and Daisy, you can see that they're the same character, but you can see the different animations that goes into them, the different sound effects they have.
Yes, unlike Marth and Lucina, some Echo Fighters, like Peach and Daisy, are built exactly the same. In the words of Masahiro Sakurai himself, please enjoy playing as your favorite princesses, because there is no difference here. If you like Peach better from the movie, play as Peach. If you like Daisy, because it's an objective fact to like Daisy better, play as her.
I like Peach more.
Whatever you say.
You can see how floaty Peach is and Daisy. You can use that to your advantage. You can see Numbers is using the float perfectly. And I'm also using the float to dodge Numbers trying to edge guard me. You can see that was the frying pan version of it. The frying pan is stronger.
That was every version. When you're charging your forward smash, just roll that stick and you've got all the weapons at once.
You can see the animation is like switching between a frying pan and a tennis racket. And the golf club has the most range. You can see how well Peach is at fighting players defensively because of that flow and how floaty she is. She can just move around and maneuver out of attacks very well. You can see Numbers using the float well, trying to avoid me.
I just tried to counter with down B.
There's the counter, Toad. You have a blue Toad and I have a red Toad.
Yes. So if you want to have Buckenberry from New Super Mario Bros. Wii on your team, you pick Daisy. I think we could probably stop here.
Finish the game, finish the game.
Oh my god, dude.
There's down tilt combos, like I explained in my Peach video. They can both do that. Down throw combos as well.
Practice these combos.
I do.
Yeah, I can tell. What I am good at is parrying that forward air, though.
Yeah, that forward air is very hard to parry, even though it's very slow. It's because of that. Oh wait, let's see the shield break. You can see I have a full shield.
Mr. Saturn breaks full shields. I earned this.
That's the strong version. The frying pan is sent upwards, even though it's a forward smash.
And just like Peach, Daisy can pull up these items too. Mr. Saturn orb bombs.
Yes.
Where is it? Oh, I lost him.
You can see how I'm edge guarding with turnips as well. I couldn't properly show that before, but now I can. These projectiles are very high reward and low risk, and that's what Smash players love. Now, that would be it for the Echo Fighter episode. Join us next time for the John Numbers wii-fit Trainer episode.